6:04.
Isn't this what we have a juror for?
Yeah, that's
What we have a
true.
juror for?
That's true, except that the juror's not named.
Oh, we have, it's in the assignment book, it's in the town,
Yeah, I know.
604.
All right. So, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes from December 13th, 2016. Is there a second? Second?
Yeah.
All those in favor, or any discussion? Let's start discussion first. Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the minutes from December 13th, 2016, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, motion passes. Before we go too much further, let's just take care of additions and deletions. We need to add, under correspondence, a note from Elaine Murray. We need to add a memo from the Department of Taxes on the COD and CLA. And, okay, you've got the court on there, so that should do it. Does anybody else have any other additions or deletions? Alrighty, then I will entertain a motion to suspend the rules and take the agenda out of order.
So moved.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor of taking the agenda out of order signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, the motion passes. So I want to move down to the select board vacancy. And I will nominate Will Bissonnette to fill the vacancy that's currently on the select board. Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, then
Until town meeting.
until town meeting, yes. Hearing none, all those in favor of appointing Will Bissonnette to the vacancy on the select board, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, the motion passes. So just for clarification, this appointment will be until town meeting, and Mr. Bissonnette will participate tonight in the discussion, but he will not be voting on any of the, in any of the votes, simply because he has not been sworn in yet. So we can take care of that tomorrow, and we should be good to go.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Let's see.
Don't know whether to shake your hand or kick you in the shin.
Or tell you to run for the door.
Too late now.
You lose. All right, then going back and taking the agenda in order, reports. Let's give Mr. Bostrom a couple, 3 minutes. Let's go ahead and see if there's anything from the treasurer first then.
Okay. In fund, you have $1,215,370.39. The checking account, you have $29,800.
Okay. Is there any other questions for the treasurer? Bill's gonna come to that, I don't have to panic tonight, he did it right. He gave me the big number first.
I was gonna ask you if you wanted a small one first.
No, no, you don't wanna do that to me. Are there any other questions for the treasurer? Alrighty, then you could do the honors of the CPA update since you've been buried in paper.
The certified public accountants, which is a paycheck and company, are buried in paper. I've been buried in paper, we've buried them in paper. They're working earnestly on this. Despite the holidays, they got 3 or 4 days in last week and started up this week, at least today. Kathy and I are going to see them tomorrow, briefly, I assume, but right after lunch. And Bob has something to present. He's got a big spreadsheet. They're working the numbers and they're gonna ask some specific questions, but they're ready to kind of roll this into a suggestive, make these corrections, hopefully, back here. We'll find out tomorrow. Anyway, they've been working pretty steadily, a couple of 3 of them, and hopefully we come out okay. We'll find out soon.
Are there any other questions or not? You will, I don't know if you noticed looking through the bills, there is an invoice in there for $7,000 for P-check for the work that's been done thus far. So this is, the sooner we can get this wrapped up, the better for all of us.
It is expensive.
It's definitely expensive. All right, town clerk, you all should have had a copy in your box of the counter monies report so that you can see what has come in cash in the front office. Law enforcement, I've got nothing to report. And what would you like to do about the highway foreman?
Do you have any questions on warrants for him?
I don't have any questions on warrants other than some of the time sheet issues. But I believe Miss Royce is here to
Talk with her.
speak. And last discussion we had, there was going to be an executive session with the highway foreman
Mhm.
to discuss the issues.
Yeah, because they're gonna say the time card, with the time clock, their time sheets don't guide.
I know.
Really?
So what's everybody's pleasure? Do you want Craig to call them? Do we want to listen to Mrs. Royce present her case again, which I know she's done to the select board once before, which we then turned around and asked the highway foreman about and got a different answer, so we decided to take it back, the two of them together, and we haven't been able to get that accomplished for a variety of reasons. And I don't want to do it again and again and again. I don't think they want to do it again and again.
Well, interest is accruing.
Is the termites
You
busy?
may need to burn that later on this year.
I might.
Yeah.
There
It
you
keeps
go.
getting cold.
There you
The only
go.
problem is I don't have wood stove, so
Ah,
Oh, well, that's
I
good.
have to do it in the middle of the floor.
Do you want to give him a call and see if he's coming?
Wow, no, better well. You know something?
9764.
Thank you, sir. You're good at this.
So then, while we're waiting for him to show up, let's go ahead and start to go through the warrants.
Love to.
We'd love to. And
We can-
we'll address the payroll issues when he's here.
Make a motion to pay a check warrant number 1, payroll, in the amount of $9,545.24.
Is there a second? Is there any discussion? I'll just note that in that packet for that week, there were 2 errors in calculations on pay, both of which the town overpaid the employee. So I think it's about time that we have to come in, have someone come in and start going over these time cards to make sure that the correct amount of pay is being issued. So, any other discussion?
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, did you make a? is
A
that
motion on payroll for 95/45/24.
Is that Rob?
Yep.
Yeah.
Second by Herb.
Yeah.
And so that all those in favor of paying warrant number 1 payroll in the amount of $9,545.24 signify by saying aye. Cool. All those opposed? All those that abstain? Okay.
We're taking a break.
None of it.
Are we at recess? What's going on? It's too bad you can't talk.
You can't vote, you can talk, you just can't vote.
Yeah.
Okay, now, we have to have, it's either yes, no, or maybe, so which is it?
Well, it doesn't matter, it's already been paid,
Right,
and it's not correct in our eyes.
that's correct as well.
Okay, so 2 out of however many we're doing good.
Well, so then we'll just, then
You
fail
can't
one.
retract it. You can modify certain parts of payroll by taking it out of the next payroll, but if you're gonna do that, I suggest you do it immediately because W-2s are going out.
Yes.
Rather than carrying it into the next year. That being
That's
said,
the issue.
things have slipped by and they do slip by many times. The problem with seeing payroll after it's paid and approving it is it's kind of a moot point. It's already been paid. Then unless you're gonna do a corrective action and say, this person needs to have $10 or $50 taken off or added to, because you found an error. There really isn't a lot you can do about it, but it does affect taxes, it'll affect the next warrant on taxes, and those will have to be recalculated. Or at
No,
least
they've
put
already
into
gone-
the next system.
They've
so-
already gone in,
Right,
and since you're at the end of the year, you're.
so bottom line, I think is you need to approve that as it is, but if you make a corrective action, that would be separate from the warrants, is that because something may have been tallied wrong, you want that corrected in the next series of payroll to come out.
It would tax tomorrow,
Well, it'd be tomorrow, yeah.
which means somebody has to sit down and go through and actually figure out what the corrections are,
If you get adjourned early,
whatever. So what's your pleasure, what would you like to do? Approve it, fail it?
we're looking at a half an hour. Or is it more?
Yeah, I think it's about half an
About
hour.
half an hour?
If according to that time clock, now them figures don't lie.
That's not the one you looked at. The one you looked at is going in tomorrow. It's not on these sheets,
Oh,
okay? So these were paid 2 weeks ago. There's another round of payroll going in tomorrow, which includes the one you looked at on Friday or Saturday, this weekend anyway. Christmas, it was in your stocking, I think.
And that actually has been corrected. It has my green, or this pink, sticky notes with the corrections on it. This other one that we're talking about in this warrant is from the 2nd of December.
Yeah, this goes back a couple of weeks, so this is old payroll. The current ones that you guys have all seen this time around anyway, doesn't get issued until this week. So that you can discuss later if you want to discuss that separately, but that's not part of the warrants. These warrants are old, and there have been problems all year, plus minuses.
they've already gone through with it.
They've already gone through, yep.
So why bother voting yes?
Well, you don't have to, but unless you're gonna revisit it later on, you can vote it up, vote it down, but it's already been paid, so I mean, technically, you can't take it back. I mean, Kathy can advise you better than I,
So you can vote on it with the possibility of a later addendum.
Yes, you could say that Vermont law requires that people be paid within 5 days of turning in payroll. We do every 2 weeks,
Right.
26 times a year. So basically, at the end of that 2-week period, payroll timesheets have to be turned in, they get paid by Friday they turn them in on Monday, they get paid Friday. That's by requirement. There are latitudes in the law that say if mistakes are made or somebody contests something, you can make it up in future payrolls. You can
Okay.
add, subtract, but you need to pay people at that point in time.
Right.
So you do the best you can, and we've had some issues back here with addition and subtraction and figuring these things out, and there have been some problems throughout the last year. We're gonna try to clean that up a little bit again, but I've been doing it and Kathy's been doing it, and we do it every week. In any case, that warrant and the next one are done deals. I mean, the taxes are the taxes, then it's spent. They got it before Christmas, they've already spent it. So, you can correct it later if you have a will to discuss that and do so. But that's pretty much a done deal.
So what's your pleasure? What would you like to do?
Abstain.
Okay. Well, if you abstain, then the motion will fail for lack of quorum. If one of the three of us abstains.
Good evening. Hi, I'm good. How about you?
Well, yeah,
And that's
just, my
okay.
point is, if it's not right, then why vote yes?
Or what's your thought?
Seems you done deal this, but any, like the new ones coming in, we'll do something.
Well, the new one that's coming in is already been corrected.
Yeah,
So, we're putting one from the second.
this one, the time probably is pretty well used up.
That time's pretty well used up.
You know, when you have a chance to appeal and stuff.
Oh, I have no idea what there's
I
a
don't
time limit
either.
on it. No idea whatsoever.
I wouldn't worry about that.
So, at this point in time, the motion fails for lack of a quorum.
Yeah.
Make a motion to pay check warrant number 2, taxes, in the amount of $3,761.03.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Just would make note of the fact that this is based on the previous warrant, so therefore, and you have to pay federal taxes, so that technically would be altered if the first warrant was corrected. But anyway, is there any other discussion on payroll warrant number 2 for the taxes? Hearing none, all those in favor of paying payroll warrant number 2 in the amount of $3,761.03 signify by saying aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes.
Make a motion to make check warrant number 3, general fund, in the amount of $12,603.46.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of paying general fund warrant number 3 in the amount of $12,603.46, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes.
Make a motion to pay check warrant number 4 out of the highway fund, $7,847.92.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of paying highway warrant number 4 in the amount of $7,847.92, signify by saying aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes.
Make a motion to pay check warrant number 5 out of the equipment fund in the amount of $2,249.87.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of paying equipment warrant number 5 in the amount of $2,249.87, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes.
Make a motion to pay check warrant number 6 out of the highway fund in the amount of $6,404.12.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, this is where, if you wanna have any discussion, 'cause we were having one earlier about salt and sand, this is where to do it. 'Cause
Yeah,
that's.
no, I just see it, when I looked at the delivery sheets, I see what the difference was.
Okay,
But the sheet that the check warrant was on
was just wrong.
was a mistake.
Yeah. Just FYI, these warrants tonight, there's $8,000 worth of salt and $5,100, almost $5,200 worth of sand. Total usage on salt thus far this year is 197 tons. Just so you know. I believe we allowed you, what, 450? Okay.
Make a motion to pay check warrant.
We
Oh, you gotta vote on
gotta vote on it.
Gotta get this
You're
done.
getting there, you're getting there. All those in favor of paying highway warrant number 6 in the amount of $6,404.12, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, motion passes.
Make a motion to pay check warrant number 7 out of the general fund in the amount of $17,920.90.
Is there a second? Is there any discussion? Just FYI, that is for all the different town insurances plus the third quarter assessment for Wyndham Solid Waste, I believe it
Plus
was.
third quarter they do a calendar year, VLCT does, I'm sorry, the VLCT does calendar year, Wyndham Solid does a fiscal.
So
through
that's what the $18,000 is about on that warrant. So all those in favor of paying general fund warrant number 7 in the amount of $17,920.90, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, motion passes.
Hey, I got a question. How many tons you said?
197 tons,
That shouldn't be right. That's not.
that's including what was delivered as of, I believe it was the 27th,
Well,
That's since
since the beginning,
of
the fiscal
the
year.
fiscal year.
No, well, that's since October, or whenever the
When you
first
start
orders came in.
bringing the sales.
September, October, you got it early, I think it was October, I'll get a printout for you, and we just got it today.
Well, 6 loads. 6 loads, that's right.
That's right.
They'd have to write 31.
Tons.
33.
Right.
All right, then, let's see, let's go back up to the highway, all over this agenda tonight. Back up to the highway, so do you have?
Did we get number 8? Was there a number 8?
There's
No.
number 8, no number.
Just number 7? That was it?
Not sure who I'm gonna count first.
I'm sorry, yeah, I mean, I
Just, you know.
thought
You
there
can
was,
understand being here with all these men, just, yeah, okay. No, there's only a number 7,
Okay.
and it's in
Yep,
your
yep, yep.
writing,
Yep,
which
okay.
means you did it.
I did it.
All right, now, back up to the highway.
I wanted more.
I'm sorry, there's no more money to spend, we're done.
Okay. Do your coming.
Okay, Clerk, did you have a report this evening for us?
No. So we don't have I don't have anything out of the ordinary right now. We've just been sanding, salting, a lot of sanding.
The,
The ice has just been awful.
yeah, just on that note, I did notify Craig today with a plate number for a Volkswagen
Yep, I
that's
talked.
stuck down there.
Mhm.
And it's my understanding that it's going to be moved out of the town.
You know, that happens, that It happens before, somebody can't make the hill or whatever, they park it on, as long as it's off the road.
This is not that. Number one, that messes up the ability to turn on the Plum Road severely. Because then you have to come off of Sawdust Alley, because you have to come out and make a less more than a 45-degree angle to get off of it. That's number one. But number two, that car was smoking. That car's not moving under its own power.
No,
In other words, it's broken down, it's going to be there a while most likely, and it needs to be moved before the
Sure.
storm that's coming
oh,
in
absolutely.
on Tuesday. So yes, we did put that in the works today, trying to get that moved.
And it is okay, I mean, you can understand conditions, people will abandon cars, they should really leave a note there. That says, I'll be back by 10 o'clock, and then you're not gonna do anything.
Well, when we used to be with, Wyndham County, I'd call them up with the plate number, they'd tell me who it was, I'd give them a call. That's happened more than once. And the state police went out to them.
Supposedly they are.
They took.
No, they
They
won't
just,
give it to me. to call.
right, they didn't give me the name, they simply said, it's out of Springfield, and I thought, well, maybe somebody visiting for Christmas or something, but in any case, they said they'd check it out. They said that somebody was in the area, they'd drive by, take a look at it, and if it wasn't going anywhere, they'd
Push the
tell it.
wing down.
It's already been hit. I don't know who, something red hit it. Because the whole side of the car is just one huge, half the tail light is on the, it's already been hit. Anyway,
You know who it belongs to?
No.
It wasn't that red Nissan that you,
No, what I say is you
my red Nissan's in the garage.
yeah. Why is it hiding in the garage?
but I had,
How long has it been in the garage?
Yeah.
I've had that happen in the past, and I found out who it was. But it happened to know who it was, and called them up and give them a choice.
Right.
Come get it or be told.
They wouldn't tell me who, I didn't press them, but they weren't telling you who it
They
was.
don't.
I can't run a plate
But
to
no,
the
they
state.
say,
for
if
obvious
you got
reasons.
no idea, then it's pretty hard to get
Well,
hold.
Wyndham County used to, they were obliged to.
Well, anyway, hopefully it's gonna be moved before
Yeah.
they have to plow on Thursday, most likely. So you don't have anything else going that you need to?
Everything is going,
Good.
nothing's broke.
Knock on wood.
Everything's working right now, we've just been real busy and doing maintenance, so.
Okay, well then, I'm assuming you want to speak to all of us together as we originally planned. Okay, so I would entertain a motion to enter executive session to discuss with an employee a potential, what phraseology do I want? Let's look at the official rule book. See what we're gonna call it. We're going to call it.
Kurt, you know Will Bissonnette, he was just nominated to fill Kit's place until town meeting. Hasn't been sworn in, can't raise a paddle or take anybody out to the woodshed yet,
It's
but
kind of like the first time I came to town meeting, my voter registration hadn't come, so I could come, but I couldn't vote.
Okay,
one VSA.
it's gonna be under, let's do one VSA 313A1, and I'll need a motion, to find that premature discussion of the grievance,
Yeah, I got it.
would put the municipality at a disadvantage.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Uh,
All right, so then I move that we go into executive session under one VSA 313A1.
6:30.
D. No, let's call it D.
Okay.
For
A1D
for grievance.
I like D.
with Andrea and Kurt.
Yes, please. And you.
No.
Only because you need to follow up on paperwork for me. Is that good? Okay, all those in favor of moving to executive session, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, abstentions, motion passes. Willie, you can stay, it shouldn't take more than 5 minutes. Can you open the visitor's office?
They don't work, they don't get in trouble then? If I call them and they know a storm is coming and they left, and
There's a million different ways to interpret everything under the sun, but that's what the thing
well,
says.
how, well, if I'm not around during a storm, it doesn't matter? You
I
can
guess
beat me,
not.
you can beat me, it doesn't matter.
Well, what you're doing, Richard, you can come back on if you want, because may as well be,
This already is on.
okay, may as well be taken. What we're coming down to here with the philosophy that you're kind of getting into is that you're on call 24/7, 365. And we can't pay for that.
Well,
Not under your definition of being on call.
have I ever asked for anything like that?
I'm just saying that that's kind of the way this is going, is
But
flip-flopping around.
somebody is on call all the time for the town and works for the town, right?
Well, but there again, it says just having a beeper so the state police can contact you doesn't constitute being on call. That's exactly what that
Well, I
says.
know, but what do I do when they call me?
Well, if you're not available, then you call somebody else in the chain. Just being the contact person in case something happens or somebody needs to reach you doesn't necessarily make you on call.
I understand that, Kathy. Then how do you have anything done outside of our normal 8-hour day if we have to come in to plow and sand and salt and take care of floods and stuff like that?
Well, perhaps, a lot of this stuff, like we've been sitting here talking about Thursday, the potential for Thursday, if you know that the majority of your time is going to be taking up plowing, and I don't know what the schedule for this particular storm is, perhaps more of a time management piece.
We do try to time that.
So that you're not here for 8 hours and then end up having 6 or 7 hours overtime when it doesn't start until 2 or 3 in the afternoon type thing. I mean, that's the only thing I can say. But just carrying the
But-
beeper.
I still don't understand who is gonna be here or who's gonna do the job when it needs to be done, if nobody's on call.
Well, there again, and
Yeah,
I'm
part
saying that there's no way that
Part of
we,
the job, if you're working, not to cut you off, but part of the job is when you're working for the town, taking care of the roads, is to figure out that when it's gonna be inclement conditions, that you're probably gonna be responsible to be there for it. And it doesn't mean that we wanna pay you $45 to put your boots
No,
on
no,
and
no.
drive to work, or
I
45
never
minutes.
asked
Or,
for that.
well, if we look at the times we're punching into the times, I mean, there's some discrepancy there. We got the time clock for when
Right.
you get to work, you punch in.
I do,
All right.
sometimes I forget.
With a small crew, there will be occasions when 3 of you can't make it to pick up a tree and somebody's just gonna have to.
Well, I never call anybody in for three for a tree anyways. but-
No, what I'm saying is that the state police may call or V-Trans may call, there may be a condition, you could be out of town, Bob could be on vacation, Ed may not be available. I
But,
mean,
yeah,
those
but
things happen.
I always try to make sure everybody's,
Well, I understand, I understand,
That's
I'm
what
I'm not criticizing you for that, I'm just saying, there will be occasions, potentially anyway, when somebody isn't, but generally, in a small town, when you got local people, somebody's around and somebody's aware of what's going on. Like this, you can expect there'll be ice, well, last night certainly, that you might have gotten called out last night because of, that rain freezing up. That's, I think what Bob was saying, you can anticipate that. It is.
and
What it is.
I believe you do have several people that you work with that have CDLs that, in the event something did happen and none of the 3 of you were available, could actually take care of some kind of at least a small emergency. If that were the case, be it a tree or be it a rock in the road, whatever. It's just under the philosophy that we seem to be moving into here, it's, the way it's coming across is we're essentially being told that the road crew is on call 24/7, 365 days a year, and that is not by definition the case.
I've always felt that they're not called, all the time.
Well, and again, and I understand you feel like you're on call because you're taking your responsibilities very seriously, and we do appreciate that. That's not the point. The point is that according to the law, which is what you keep mentioning to us, it's not carrying the beeper does not constitute being on call. That's all the only distinction I'm trying to make.
That's the only distinction we have is the beeper. But I still can't figure out if I'm not on call, who is on call? And how does the job get done, is what I'm saying. And what if the guys feel they're not on call, so they get into the libations and they're having a holiday
Then they can't
festival?
drive a truck, can they? Because
Right,
by
because
law
they-
they can't.
Right,
Somebody will
but-
call Rob at 6 o'clock in the
But
morning.
they don't feel that they're on call, so they don't have to come to work.
Quarter of.
They what?
They don't, they're not on call now. Well, I think when they feel that, somebody feels when they're on call, you are on point, you're ready to go.
You had, okay, that's fine, but now you're getting into what you and or the crew think versus what the town has said or what the law has said. And we have never, I do not, to the best of my
Well,
knowledge.
I don't know, I see that,
The select board has never said you can't go home and have a drink in the afternoon. And we have not restricted your
oh,
ability.
yeah, I know what you're saying there, but that's, how do you feel, you know what I mean? That's. 'cause
I
you
understand
need-
this, but that's what
You
I'm
gotta be ready
saying.
to go.
That's what I'm
It sounds
saying.
like you're taking on call and placing it on yourself,
Cause.
and feeling that the board is placing it on you. Am
Cause I don't know who's
misinterpreting
on
that?
call then.
Being
If I'm not on call.
Being on call in an emergency, when the state police call and say there's a tree down, there's been an accident, we need you, is one thing, because you don't expect that. Being on call, you're gonna call the crew at 3:30 in the morning, you're watching the forecast, you know they're gonna be there early tomorrow, generally, or they know. I mean, they know they're gonna be showing up probably pretty early.
Right.
On whatever I deal with the time sheets, but I mean, they're all coming in at 3:30 or something. Yeah, you know that the night before, at least you're pretty well aware, but it's not a surprise to them that you're calling at 3:15, hopefully. So I mean, there is that difference,
Which
but
is
yeah.
why we've always had or why the call-it is in the policy, so that if there is a situation like that, a tree or a rock or whatever comes up, it's an automatic 2 hours regardless. You know, and overtime if it's over the 40. I mean, that's automatic, that's the call-out piece versus doing the job and knowing you have to maintain the roads, which becomes a time management piece, trying to figure out how you could do the job in the allotted time, and when you might not want to be sitting at the shop doing miscellaneous repairs to the vehicles, and when you know you're going to be out for 15 straight hours, starting that night, that type of thing. I mean, there's a difference between the on-call in that particular case and emergency on-call, is what I'm trying to get across. I know I think we're both on the same page to some extent, but
Yeah,
I
I
think.
don't know how the emergency on call can be not factored in as being on call. You know what I mean? I treat somebody has to be,
You're right, but that doesn't
But the
necessarily.
fire department could go
So-
out, Joe's got a chainsaw.
or
I mean,
and
it's
that's
not-
just one incident, or
Yeah.
a wash, or whatever. Somebody has to be able to go take care of
But
it.
nobody has told you prior to that incident happening. They have not in any way, shape, or form restricted your ability to live your life. So if that wash happens and you get a call from the state police, I mean, you could have been out partying the night before and you're gonna call Bob and say, Bob, you need to go take care of this. Or whatever. We haven't restricted your ability to enjoy your off time to whatever you want in that type of a situation. That's the real difference. Is we've never said you can't have a drink, you can't leave, you can't be 25 miles out
Just
of the
going
area.
somewhere, visiting family, whatever, that's, okay, right.
You know, so visiting family in that particular case, I'm sure you're going to let somebody know that you're going. That's actually part of your job as the foreman.
A doctor on call for a holiday or a Sunday is really on call. He's
Right.
awake, he's got his pants on, he's ready to go, he's sober, he's,
That's essentially what we're getting at. If there's something that's planned, like a vacation or a family outing or whatever, then you just make sure somebody's aware of the fact that they might have that beeper.
Yeah.
And
Okay, right.
I mean, if you've got questions, or I mean, maybe I just I'm not understanding what's going on here. But twice you've come on camera and you referred to the on call, and so we did look it up to see what the state did say about it, because you said we should look it up, and we did, and that's what it's saying. So I think we need to understand what it's constituting an on call. I mean, maybe the way to do this is to at some point in time have a meeting, just so that everybody understands, maybe with the highway department, so that they can ask their questions and we can ask ours.
What I'll do is I have a little book, a little neighbor law book in the shop, and I'll show them tomorrow.
I mean, just, more than anything, that's,
we're gonna all get together some,
Or not on call.
well, no, I'm not just, You do, you can phrase it any way you want, we're just playing with language is what we're doing here.
Well, part of it is, like on Monday, you got 3:30, 3:30, 3:30. All three of you guys went in at 3:30.
Yes.
You punched in at 3:55, Ed punched in at 4:09, Bob punched in at 4:06. If we go through the whole entire year,
That way.
it turns out to be a whole extra week. I mean, we're paying for a 53rd week of the year,
Right.
or 54th week of the year.
All right.
What our point is that we're no problem at all paying you for when you're working,
Mm-hmm.
just want to pay you when you're working.
Yep.
Okay, anything, Bert, did you have anything?
No, but if it's correct to run somewhere, in case of emergency, somebody's gotta be able to take care of it.
Well, somebody needs to be aware that he's.
It's correct,
he's-
aware
he's
that
going to-
they're be on call.
But I always have, I've gone to places and had Joe be ready to fill in.
Right, I mean, the beat, from what I understand, when you leave the area, if you go on vacation or whatever, the
I-
beeper lives with somebody else.
It always has, and I've always made arrangements, and
Right.
and the other guys, you know,
Well, they know. You usually tell me when you're taking off for it. I mean, you don't tell me every
no,
weekend. You
just,
tell me.
no, the other guys know, but I'm just,
Would it make any sense to have some sort of a rotating on-call schedule so that the burden isn't carried?
No, but then you
Then
would
you are
get,
on
then,
call.
then
Then
you
it
are
is-
on
then you
call.
are on call.
Then you're going to be paying, in their particular case, if they've already worked a 40-hour week, you're
Okay.
going to be paying on-call and overtime wages.
Got it.
And you need to keep your daughter off the phone so the line's open.
Yeah.
Good luck.
That happens with
I don't
teenagers.
even use a phone, they text.
Yeah, anymore they do.
All right.
Okay? All right. Well, like I said, if there needs to be a discussion, that's fine. If you could just let somebody know that we need to get together and have that.
We'll have it catered.
There you go, that'd be different for a change, wouldn't it?
Nope, I'm just gonna make sure they sign in when they punch in.
Well, just FYI, the bookkeeper's been instructed, whoever's doing the timesheets, has been instructed to pay from the time cards.
Sure.
But the worksheets elucidate what the time cards don't, because not all the call outs. I mean, you need to read the time sheets also to find out on the call outs.
When's the call
Why
out? When's
things
the
are the
2 hour?
way, why things are the way they are.
I usually write down.
Or if
Yeah.
there's a sick time, or if you're adding in a couple hours of vacation to fill in something or whatever.
Yeah.
So you gotta read them both, and when you read them both, then it gets confusing, and we don't want her to have little veins popping before her. So,
All right. If there's nothing.
Yeah, I get-
Okay.
Down on State Forest Road there, that guy pushed them rocks right out the edge of the road,
What's good?
down at the Castoo place.
Yes.
Those rocks that set back away from the road, and he's got them right up tight to the blacktop now. He did it before snow.
Huh.
And if you catch a wind or something on it, there's a 50-foot right of way there too.
it's on the lower part,
Three
upper
rods?
part, lower, upper, middle, somewhere on State
Right,
Forest.
right
Big-
between
big
these
rocks.
two driveways, for the big place.
Yes,
And it goes
on
up
the
back,
on the new-
right around that corner.
Yep. That's a 3-rod right away there?
Yep. That's the old state, part of the old state highway from Holland Bridge. But just, I think, be wise to put him on notice if something happened to one that plows and something catches that when it throws in, that he's gonna be liable. And one other question I got, how come you haven't burnt that brush pile 2-3 years down the pit?
I don't know.
I don't have it.
I didn't say I didn't, I said I don't know.
Oh.
Why?
Well, it should be burned every year, and then if you bring any stuff in, you won't have especially in the summertime, if everything ever got going, it would burn up half the wood. When snow's on the ground, it's a good time, that I always used to do is, when got snow covered, then you could burn it and not have to worry about it.
Right.
Okay, anything else?
Well, we'll need to think it, I'll bring it up.
And then one other thing is, how come they got stumps in the right of way up there at the back of the pit? There's a right of way right through there, and there's stumps right in that road. What they really should do when
What would the
they get a
stump-
chance.
Is that up on the hill?
Stumps
Yeah,
from
up on,
Clark's Clark's cut the stuff behind the pit, or was it from when they logged there?
no, it's right, it goes, Bostrom's and that, they
I
have a right of
understand
way.
that, but
I
where
know
were
that
the
right
stumps
away,
from?
in Bostrom and I, because we moved that right away, we didn't move it, the right of way's still there. We moved the trail, he still has the right of way there,
Yeah.
but the trail goes away from the pit edge more.
Yeah, if something happened, if they had to get through their vehicle, there's no way. Cause you've got brush and stumps piled away to put the bank while the right of way, or
There's a
the new
berm.
road should be.
There's a berm there, right?
But I say there's brush.
You can drive a vehicle on that trail. It goes behind that berm pile. Now, I got that berm there for protection.
I realize that, I'm not talking about the berm. There's pine stumps piled right across that right of way. I noticed it when I went up the hill during deer season, I looked right down right onto it, and you could see it.
He still has the right of way there, but the trail is, the right of way has the stumps on it. The trail is behind the stump pile, the berm there.
Can you get a vehicle through it?
Yes. I had the backhoe through there, yeah.
All right.
That berm pile, I talked to Mr. Bostrom about that.
Anything else? No? All right,
I
thank
did
you,
think it was a good time to burn that brush pile
thank you for coming.
this winter sometime. You know, I'm not saying it's gonna be dead tomorrow, but get a decent day where you can get in and get it started. The only thing is, call Keen and let them know.
Yeah, I got a permit number.
You don't have to have a permit in the wintertime, but just notify.
Last time I got a permit number, and
Yeah,
in
you
the
just
winter time, just to have a permit.
Yeah, but just
to
notify
see
Keen, and that way if somebody calls it in,
That makes sense.
they won't be
I
calling.
come up
it.
here, telling you to get permit number, call from here and everything.
Yeah, all right, anything else? All right.
No, I'm just kidding.
Got one
The
more.
next person that does this to me is gonna get it. Thank you, Kurt.
The other.
That's it.
Thanks, Kurt.
All right, then moving on. Where are we going? Correspondence. Elaine Murray, I think you all had a copy of this in your box. It just says, to the select board, I have a suggestion, oh, I should've done this for Kurt, so.
That's it, he already took care of
Oh, okay. I have a suggestion for accommodating town folk at the transfer station. Perhaps a disposal truck could be moved up 6 or more feet from where it is now. It is not easy or comfortable to throw a bag into the back of the truck when trying to avoid a deep puddle of groundwater. Boots are sometimes necessary. Or now that it is much colder, even ice, someone will eventually hurt themselves, an injury the town cannot afford. What do you guys say? Respectfully, Elaine Murray. And you said Kurt's already addressed it?
Yeah, I gave him a copy of that. They moved the truck forward. I mean, they did right after that.
Okay.
And then put some sand down. So
Right,
kind of soak up. But it gets, it freezes, it gets icy.
No, that on Wednesday or Saturday when they're open, should make sure that if there is ice, it's sand.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, and.
No, I mean, that's all.
And for Arnold's sake and all that. I mean, you gotta move the truck out, plow it out, put some sand and salt down.
So would you
Follow
somehow
up on that?
respond to
Sure.
Mrs. Murray
Sure.
and let her know that we took her concerns?
Yeah, and we'll monitor
Seriously.
it, but it was addressed pretty much initially. Can't remember the day the letter came in, pretty much within a day or so. The next time the dump was open, it had changed, and I'll keep an eye on it, but I'll send her a note.
Another thing I noticed coming back, that's what happens during the holidays, people are out at night and they're not usually out. I did notice coming back on the weekend that the highway garage gates are not being locked.
They seem to be open during the day. I noticed that when I went home tonight, 4:15 or whenever it was. When I came back at 5:15, they were closed. I don't know if they're allowing people to get some sand.
That could be,
But I don't know, I meant to ask Kurt sometime, cause I don't know if Bob's coming down to close it, or if he's going by, or somebody's going by.
well,
And actually, they were closed at 5:15 or so, but they were open at 4, and I thought, well, that's unusual, except I could use another bucket of sand today. So, I mean, I think they're being courteous during daylight hours.
Well, this would have been
But if
6-ish at night, 6:30, when I came back
Okay,
through and the gates were open.
yeah, okay.
I just think we need to be careful
Okay,
of
no,
that so
yeah.
that we don't end up with people stealing sand and.
Well, there has been an occasion where somebody opened them themselves to go in and get that, or take his
It was okay thing.
recycling
They're,
in.
they're not,
They're not locked,
Locked,
it's,
you
well,
see, that's-
we're not saying this on camera,
They just
they are
don't
locked,
close.
real tight,
hooked.
but, yeah, anyway.
Okay, I just wanted to make note of the fact that they were staying
The
open.
gates, got
All right.
Okay, I've been guilty of opening the gate and put my recycling.
No, you're not supposed to do that. Bad.
Well,
Anyway,
I'm not gonna do it anymore.
no, now you have to set an example.
it's right, and there are cameras out there. If you
Yeah,
catch it,
exactly.
yeah, we'll put your picture on television, then you'll really be embarrassed. Okay, so the next thing that we added was the Department of Taxes, CLA and COD. Evidently this came in right before Christmas. Boy, everybody's
No,
really.
actually, I just saw that today.
December
I got it.
27th.
Yeah.
It's dated December 23rd. They have figured our common level of appraisal for next year at 110.38%,
Going up.
which will certainly help offset the school tax increases that are most likely coming, and
But the meaning of that is that the asking value for properties in Townsend is higher than the actual value should be. So, just,
But the COD is at 14.98%, and so we're getting really close to pushing the 30, isn't that what it is? Where
no,
it's automatic?
20 will trigger it on a
20% necessitates a
Right.
reappraisal.
You
So we're
want,
getting close.
you want your COD to be low. 14's not bad, it's held, but the CLA has gone through the roof. It was 103 last year, now it's at 110. So I think there's some correction to be made in the market correction or whatever, but it will help taxes. That'll drive a couple of percent off of them, hopefully, this year.
Well, school.
School
Yeah,
side,
but
yeah.
up until this last year, the state has still figured that it was worth more than what everybody was selling for.
Oh, in reality? Sure.
Oh, yeah,
It's-
reality. Now, I mean, why the hell do you
Yeah.
go? I mean, reality, it's what the selling price is
It's
what
what the
its
market,
value is.
it's what the market will bear, right, but according to their formulas, we've gone up
They
7%.
set,
We're 7% over where we should be, or where we were last year, and I don't think,
there's something wrong. Well, yeah, of course, they want all the money they can get, but
it's the Trump effect.
Gotta be.
All right, on that note, thank
People wanna
you.
move closer to Bernie.
Yeah.
Then we'll VDCP closeout update.
Yeah, I'm just writing down number 14. Let's see, VDCP closeout update. Yes, Kathy took care of that finally, after whatever it was, 3 months of, that's on the Community Housing Development Grant. We have to, somebody has to, and it's usually the chair of the select board, somebody has to basically sign off on the financials for the money that we received by way of a grant through the town, which was given to Valley Cares for their development projects from 2005 through last year, or 2 years ago, I guess it was, for the 3 projects they had up there. The money that came through, which is about $1.2 million, or?
No, we didn't, no, it wasn't the whole entire amount.
Okay.
No, I don't remember exactly how much it is, but.
Well, it's been to the board, it's $1 million almost anyway.
I don't think
500 and then another 4 and then, yeah,
maybe.
anyway,
We
well,
have to look at it.
whatever it is. Because that money came through the town as a community development grant, we have to account for it, which means we have to basically interface with Valley Cares on an annual basis. We're supposed to be looking at their audit reports, we're supposed to be making sure that they remain financially better than solvent, and file report annually with the state that will report to the federal government because there's federal monies involved. In any case, it's been a pain to do this year after year, and Kathy's been the one to do it the last 3 years. It's been a bit of a struggle to try to get it sorted out and simplified and there is hope that she has done a little more of that this year, so that next year will be smoother sailing. Remains to be seen, but anyway, that is done, and it's been stressful. But Kathy took care of it last week, again.
Okay, I don't wanna deal with the budget review right now, because technically we have to discuss compensation, which I don't wanna do in an open session, since we're talking about individuals. Then let's move on to the new business, it's court schedule update. For those of you who may or may not know, the town of Townsend is being sued by a former auditor. We have received our court date notification for Friday, March 24th, 2017 at 10 a.m. in Wyndham Superior Court.
And I have a that's appointment with the dog that morning, I'm
Yeah.
sorry to say.
Uh-huh.
I had to
I
make
think
a long
not.
time in
I
advance.
think
It's a shampoo that.
Just so everybody's aware, that's after town meeting, and I'm not sure who's going to be on the board and who's not. So,
And I have a vet's appointment, so we'll have to find someone.
but just, I mean,
What's the date?
it's
24th.
24th, March 24th.
March 24th?
Can we count you in?
Me? Oh,
Irv?
him? I don't know.
Boy, that implies a
No,
lot.
no, no. Yeah. Needless to say, that the worst part of it is it doesn't really matter, because it's all set to attention me. So I'm named in the complaint, which is even better. All right, we'll see how that flies. Women's solid waste recycling, did we get any?
I
You
did
got a
not.
new paper on that, did you?
I did not yet, no, I understand there's one coming,
Yeah.
but I haven't received it. I
But-
talked to Kristen, she
Yeah.
said, okay, go ahead.
Remember the figure I told you about, what, probably 11,000?
Right,
Well, they taxed some more on it to put mothball in the plant,
right, there's gonna be a close down cost.
up around 14 or something like
Yep.
that.
Yep, Kristen said there would be new figures coming through for budgetary reasons. But with regard to the recycling and finding a private contractor, I haven't gotten anywhere with that yet.
No, but I was just on this assessment.
Right. Yeah, we don't have a firm
I
assessment.
mean, they really wanna know why the towns are leaving in droves. I think this is a prime example of what's going on. You know, it's the fact that it's like, it's a moving target, trying to figure out what it's going to cost, what you're gonna have to do, what,
Now see, when, they're,
Well, up until 2 or 3 years ago, they were real good about a late
But
December
I gotta
getting
say
in for
they-
budget.
had it pretty well figured out until the town of Brattleboro and some of them towns voted it down.
Oh, yeah,
To close it. And then it changed it because when you get through, it's probably a month or 2 or 3 weeks anyways, after the end of June to process all the material that they pick up right up until the end of June.
well, it's quite a few
All right,
employees.
yeah.
so-
And then it,
So there's a lag time between when it stops and when
see,
they're done.
actually the fiscal year ends June 30th. But it's gonna take 2 or 3 weeks to clean everything up and process the material and all that, so that's why they added on another,
Well, and you've got employees that you're gonna carry from
All of
month
that.
and all of that, yeah. And if you're gonna repurpose
But-
the building, then,
I was watching it, and I think we ought to, sometime here, if we had the chance, to have Bob Spencer come up and he can answer all them questions for you.
we can do that, and he and I were gonna talk, and it didn't happen, it's just been, there have been other things going on these last 2 weeks, not the least of which has been the holiday. But he and I were gonna talk and try to come up with some numbers for you on various recycling options. We have to recycle, and we basically have to do it for free, whatever that means. But we need to get some estimates from private haulers.
But I happened to turn the TV to channel 10 there last night, and he was in Putney
Yep.
explaining it out.
Yep.
I don't know what day their meeting was, but it was on TV last night.
Yeah, Putney wasn't one of the 13 that voted away from it, though. They voted for it with Townsend.
Oh, yeah. I know.
13 to 10 was the vote. It's pretty close, but anyway.
All right, then is there any other business?
If no other business, I move we adjourn.
No,
I've got other business, no,
no,
Dinner.
no.
Are we gonna crunch some numbers, Kathy?
We're gonna at least discuss, what numbers we're looking at from a salary standpoint
oh, yeah.
for the budget.
Which is probably executive?
Yes,
Yes.
because I
So
do
you're
want,
holding that to the end.
talk about employees as well. So I will move into executive session to discuss.
Is there gonna be action coming out?
No.
For the camera, okay, and there's no other business, right?
No, that's right.
Next meeting will be January 10th,
Right.
I believe, no workshops in between then. Next meeting will be January 10th at 6 o'clock, I don't think that conflicts with anything, I mean, the calendar. And no other business.
So basically, I'll move to go, okay, this has gotta be a two-part motion, this is so ridiculous. All right.
Premature?
Yes,
Okay, got it.
I'll
Who's
entertain a
making
motion to find that there would be premature to have a discussion about, labor, let's see, what do we call it?
Employer, employee.
No, it's
No.
not technically, it's gonna be more contracted labor relations, one of the two. To have that
Well,
discussion.
the motion for premature knowledge would put the select board of significant disadvantage, that's a standard.
Right.
So let's get that motion.
So all those
Rob,
in
thank you.
favor?
Thanks, sir.
Yeah. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Yeah.
Opposed, abstentions? Okay, then I
Okay,
move,
now, one VSA. What?
313A1B
A1B.
to discuss, labor agreements with the employees.
At 7:15.
Yep.
And we need a motion. Thanks, Rob.
I'll entertain a motion to move into executive for those reasons.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
All right.
Okay.
I'll make it 7:16.
You make it whatever time you want, whatever your little heart desires.